Welcome to Extraordinary Anthropology. How about we start at the beginning of anthropology with E.B. Tylor's 1871 book, Primitive Culture, which landed him the title Father of Cultural Anthropology. Before we begin, please let me introduce this channel. Thank you. Welcome to Extraordinary Anthropology. Anthropology is the study of humanity in all its dimensions, how our bodies are constructed, how ancient people lived, and why modern humans engage in practices like the occult. Anthropologists have long sought to understand human behavior and culture, a task that can be challenging when encountering people with vastly different traditions and beliefs. As an anthropologist, I am particularly fascinated by spiritual and religious systems and how cultural beliefs enable individuals to thrive within their environments. These beliefs often integrate concepts of the spiritual, natural, and social worlds into a mental framework that gives meaning to life. On this channel, we will delve into some of the extraordinary accounts recorded by early anthropologists who immersed themselves in cultures strikingly different from their own. We'll also explore various social theories surrounding spiritual practices. Interestingly, when I used ChatGPT 4.0 to generate an image for this channel, it produced a doorway, a fitting symbol for anthropology. This didn't surprise me, as renowned anthropologists like Victor and Edith Turner, among others, have noted that rituals and ceremonies often function metaphorically as doorways. Across cultures, transition from one state of being to another, whether physical, social, or spiritual, are often marked by a liminal period, a threshold that is both transformative and fraught with danger. For example, during puberty rites, a child undergoes a ritualized journey from childhood to adulthood. The transition involves a liminal state when the person is neither fully a child nor an adult. Such doorways, like the transitional stage of puberty, are perilous times. Imagine the imposing doors in this image, closing too soon or slamming shut, posing a major threat to the individual in transition. To protect young people during these phases, many cultures organize rituals to ensure the spirits surrounding the doorway remain benevolent and to provide the initiate with strength and reassurance for the journey ahead. The symbolism on the doorway also resonates with anthropological studies of liminality, particularly in exploring human experiences before and after death. It is remarkable how such universal concepts appear again and again, connecting us all through the shared thresholds of transformation. Much anthropological work has focused on finding universal concepts, many of which we will discuss here. Please join me as we explore the world of extraordinary anthropology. One of the reasons I have put together this channel is to share with you the discoveries that anthropologists have found over the last 150 years. I hope to present things you've never heard of. I would also love to hear your thoughts on my crazy anthropological musings. As we begin our historic discussion of anthropology, I ask you to think of a time when you heard low murmurs, chirps, or whistling sounds that seemed strange to you or came out of nothingness. Perhaps these sounds are something like or the that people frequently hear. When it starts getting cold during the wintertime here, crickets invade our home, and they drive me totally crazy when I hear them at night. I am such a light sleeper. I know undoubtedly what a cricket sounds like and think nothing particular about their sounds, nor do I think much about low murmurs or whistling sounds. But what if I heard a cricket chirp coming out of thin air? Could it possibly be something else? If so, that might be disconcerting for me. Tylor did not mean rapping as the music produced by Eminem. Could you just imagine Eminem rapping at ghosts and their puzzlement? It could really be kind of funny. Rapping, according to Tylor, are the sounds created as someone strikes a hard surface. It is the banging and knocking sounds heard during a seance, or the commotion a poltergeist makes. Back in Tylor's day and even today, famous Brazilian mediums do auto-writing by letting the spirits guide their writing. Later I'll present a video about the science of auto-writing. It's actually fabulous. More on that to come. I hope you stay tuned. Frequently when I'm watching paranormal shows here on YouTube, I hear people discussing how spirits make knocking sounds. Do you guys find that to be true too? Anthropology is a relatively young discipline, emerging in the late 1800s and gaining momentum in the early 20th century. By the mid-1900s, anthropologists and explorers have ventured to nearly every corner of the globe to study indigenous populations. Among the first cultural differences they documented were variations in beliefs about spirits, a central theme to Sir Edward Bernard Tylor's seminal 1871 Primitive Culture. This book, often regarded as the founding document of anthropology, earned Tylor the title of Father of Cultural Anthropology. In Primitive Culture, Tylor synthesized spiritual beliefs recorded by European and American explorers and scientists from distant lands. His work introduced the concept of culture as the defining focus of anthropology, famously defining it as, quote, that complex whole which includes knowledge, beliefs, art, morals, law, custom, and any other capabilities and habits acquired by man as a member of society. This definition remains widely cited. In fact, we just take the word man out and put humans to make sure we have all our genders in the definition. Anthropologists since this time have proposed numerous alternatives. Famous anthropologists Kroeber and Kluckholm in 1952, for instance, cataloged 164 definitions of culture, and even more have emerged in subsequent years. Can you imagine if I tried to have my students memorize all 164 definitions of culture? That'd be horrible. I would never do that. It's kind of just amazing to think we have that many different definitions of culture in anthropology. Tylor argued that all cultures believe humans have souls, often manifesting as apparitions or phantoms. He compiled numerous accounts of apparitions, noting that they typically appear in dreams or were perceived by mediums. These patterns led Tylor to conclude that the human capacity to dream gave rise to the concept of spirits. By imagining the souls of others, and eventually their own, humans populated the world with spirits, from babbling brooks to hidden animals. Tylor identified animism, the belief that spirits inhabit things in the natural world, as the essence of religion. In his view, religion arose to explain natural phenomena in the absence of scientific understanding. Did y'all catch that? That Tylor thought that we dreamed up this whole soul business? I'd be interested what you think about that idea. Spirit and the religion they shaped played a pivotal role in art, morals, law, beliefs, knowledge, and other cultural dimensions Tylor deemed significant. Consequently, they were central to each culture he studied. One of Tylor's most striking observations was that many cultures believed plant, animals, natural phenomena, and even human-made objects possess spirits. He formalized this concept of animism, proposing it as the foundational element of religion worldwide, and used it as a concept in his unilineal scheme shown in this slide. In fact, he thought the earliest people were animists, that they believed rocks and trees and brooks and everything could have a soul in it. And then as humans progressed, became more advanced, they began to believe in polytheism, the idea that there were many gods hidden out there in the world and in the cosmos. As humans advanced some more, they came up with monotheism, the belief in one God. Eventually, humans, according to Tylor, would advance so much that there would be no need for beliefs in spirits because we could explain the world and how it works by science. So that was his scheme. Unfortunately for those with religious or spiritual beliefs, Tylor characterized animism as a primitive mental state. He aimed to debunk spiritualism, which was widespread in England and America during the mid to late 1800s. At the time, the two most popular methods of communicating with spirits were through rapping and writing via a medium. Tylor dismissed these practices as tricks, especially those done by the Davenport brothers who lived in New York State. In the third edition of Primitive Culture, Tylor expressed harsh criticism of both indigenous beliefs and spiritualism. His approach alienated anthropologists working with indigenous people, as it was perceived as dismissive and terribly ethnocentric. violating the foundational principle of anthropology: thou shalt not be ethnocentric. Tylor believed science was inherently superior to animistic religions. Today, modern anthropology critiques his views as colonialistic, although many still stand by science. Tylor's 1871 book, Primitive Culture: Research into the Development of Mythology, Philosophy, Religion, Language, Art, and Custom, is widely regarded as a scholarly masterpiece. By advocating for the importance of cross-cultural comparison, it revolutionized the social sciences and established anthropology as an independent discipline. Translated into French, German, Polish, Russian, and other languages, it also influenced other intellectuals, including Charles Darwin, who cited Tylor in The Descent of Man to support the idea that human cultures developed over time. Like Darwin, primitive culture remains historically significant, even though modern researchers have moved far beyond its intellectual framework. Many of the book's limitations stem from Tylor's assumption about ancestry and culture. He believed in a hierarchy of biological races, a view disproven by research showing that all humans share the same behavioral capacities, though individual abilities vary. As we just saw, Tylor proposed a unilineal model of cultural development, suggesting that societies progress through universal stages from primitive cultures to civilization, with European societies representing the pinnacle of development. This unilineal model has been thoroughly disproven by anthropologists. Today, terms like savagery and Tylor's unilineal framework are obsolete and lack analytical value. Cultures differ based on historical, environmental, and technological context, not because some are inherently less developed than others. Any culture that sustains itself over generations is complete, providing its members with the means to live. Differences in political and economic structures reflect strategies tailored to specific historical circumstances and technologies developed to transform the environment to sustain human life, rather than stages of development. Although incredibly flawed, Tylor's ideas were not entirely unreasonable given the data available to him. He relied on reports from explorers, military leaders, missionaries, and priests, sources with diverse perspectives and inconsistent methods. The incomplete and unsystematic nature of these data limited the accuracy of his conclusions. Nonetheless, Tylor offered enduring insights, particularly regarding spirituality and religion. He observed that many traditional societies believed in unseen forces and spirits. For instance, he documented accounts of ghostly encounters across cultures from Brazil to Britain to the West Indies. He noticed similarities in the description of spirit voices such as low murmurs, chirps, or whistles. Among the Algonquian Indians of North America, shadow souls were said to chirp like crickets. In New England, ancestral spirits reportedly communicated in whistling tones, and the Zulu diviners described their ancestor spirits as speaking in low whistles. In conclusion, while primitive culture reflects the biases and limitations of its time, it laid the groundwork for anthropology's study of animism, spirituality, religion, and culture. Its enduring influence is a testament to Tylor's role in shaping the field, even as modern anthropologists critique and move beyond his framework. What I find most intriguing in Tylor's book is how rapping and auto-writing were a well-known form of mediumship in the mid-1800s and continue today. However, those are not the only ways to communicate with spirits. Many groups identify spirit voices as low murmurs, chirps, or whistles. To repeat myself, among the Algonquian Indians of North America, shadow souls were said to chirp like crickets. In New Zealand, ancestral spirits communicated in whistling tones, and Zulu diviners understood their ancestral spirits by the low whistles. I cannot think of a comparative example of American ancestor or ghost speaking in low chirps or whistles. Can you? Returning to my original questions at the beginning of the show, do you recall a time when you heard low murmurs, chirps, or whistle sounds that seemed strange to you or came out of nothingness? Do you think it belongs to a spirit? I love to hear your answers, but please be respectful of others' beliefs and opinions. Many other cultures believe in things that general Americans do not understand, and in keeping with anthropology, we should always be respectful of each other and different cultural ideas. Thank you. I look forward to seeing what you have to say.